NBT World, a vision of Thailand.
The technology has been very much involved in the museum management or the museum works now today, especially after the pandemic of COVID-19. The people or the staff who work at the museum have to have the courage to work and who have the passions to fulfill and to acquire the knowledge and to develop ourselves at all times.
Welcome to tonight's program. Tonight we've dived into the challenges that museums around the world are facing today, from going digital to bouncing back after the pandemic. Tonight we've got museum experts from Thailand and Abu Dhabi who share with us their experiences, knowledge, insights, and stories about how they are making it work. Can you give us a brief introduction about the museum?
About Louvre Abu Dhabi? Yeah, so Louvre Abu Dhabi is a museum that was created as part of a collaborative agreement between the UAE and France, an agreement that combines Abu Dhabi's strive to enhance its cultural presence and France's expertise in the Museum of Arts. The collaboration is of course, with Musée du Louvre in Paris, but also at the same time with 19 other institutions in France. And what we are getting is their expertise and their help in creating world-renowned exhibitions.
Right. And how do you collaborate with Louvre Museum in France? How did you get the name?
It's an ongoing process. The name, it's Louvre Abu Dhabi, so the connection with the Louvre France came through this international agreement that we had, that we still have with the French government. Right.
What about the expositions, the artifacts? How do you collaborate with Le Louvre in France?
We have our own development policy in terms of the artifacts that we are receiving and the collection, but with the help of our French partners, that they have a very deep understanding of the market and the history and the culture, so they can advise in also the art pieces that we are bringing.
Let's talk about the building, which is truly impressive.
Please.
What is the architecture's significance of the building?
So the building was designed by Jean Nouvel, and it's an amazing blend of tradition and modernity that also reflects the same tradition and modernity blend that the Abu Dhabi city or the Abu Dhabi Emirate strives to promote. The iconic dome that we have creates a microclimate underneath, and the effect of the rain of light that the dome is achieving is a unique experience. Mm-hmm. The whole building was created in a way to enhance the visitor experience with big and spacious galleries, natural light, naturally created pathways so that the visitors can feel welcome and enjoy their experience in the museum.
Right. I read that it's situated on the island, right? In the middle of the...
It's like an island on an island.
Right.
It's in the middle of the whole building was created in the sea, and it's a reclaimed land.
Right. So it's like one big complex, or it's just one big building?
It is a big building that is designed in a way to... No, actually, it's not one single building. It has It's a complex of smaller buildings that they are interconnected in a way, and they are all sitting under the magnificent dome of the museum.
What kind of expositions and artifacts that the museum focus on?
So the museum, as a whole, has an approach that stems away from the traditional way that the museums are presenting their collections, and in this case particularly, what we want to promote is cross-cultural collaborations and cross-cultural engagements. In that sense, the exhibitions that we are building follow the same pattern, and they are promoting or presenting artifacts from all over, from all around the world
Right.
into one exhibition. The examples that, the latest examples that we had was the Kalila Wadim exhibition, Fables between East and West, that was actually exploring the connections of the fables in the Eastern and the Western tradition and the similarities between those two cultures.
Right. Are there any iconic pieces?
There are many iconic pieces in the collection.
example?
For example, we have the portrait of a man that some people think it's Jesus by Rembrandt. We have our own Mona Lisa, which is an interpretation of the Mona Lisa of Leonardo by Yang Pei-ming, the famous Chinese artist. We are focusing more on the collection rather than the iconic pieces of the collection.
Right. And how many years the museum has been established already?
The museum opened on 2017, November 2017.
Right. So you went through COVID time.
We did,
Right.
as everyone else.
Right. And how did you try to survive, and what kind of strategies did you use to make the museum still attract to tourists during the COVID time?
During the times of COVID, like everyone else, we have struggled with the extended closure of the museum. And in that time, what we have done is that we have enhanced, of course, our digital offering by offering digital guided tours to the museum, online workshops. We have created the archive of our collection that can be accessed by anyone, and that has actually helped us a lot in getting in touch, in staying in touch with our audience, but also getting in touch, very much in touch with the local community.
Right. So what about after COVID? What kind of strategies you used to use to attract the tourists?
After COVID, we have tried to combine what we have learned from the COVID period with the digital exposure of the museum and blend it with the traditional endeavors of the institution, and so basically mix the digital and the physical world. That has resulted in enhanced cultural programs, enhanced educational programs that keeps us in touch with the local community. And the continuous success of the museum is being showcased by the number of visitors that we had last year that exceeded 1.2 million.
Right. As a specialist of museum, how do you think innovation and technology important for the survival of museums around the world?
All institutions and all museums have to adapt the technological and advances in order to promote their craft. It's, if we don't adapt to the new technologies, if we don't absorb the new technologies, if we not include the new technologies into our offering, then we will become obsolete.
Right, right. What about local engagement? Is it important as well?
Every museum and every institution is part of the communities that they are operating in. They have to communicate, they have to engage with the local audience. It's not very easy all the time, because whenever it's something in your doorstep, usually you don't go to it that much as you would go in an institution if you're traveling abroad. But the museum, and especially Louvre Abu Dhabi, we are having a very strong outreach and engagement program that stems from our educational program. And to connect with a younger audience in Abu Dhabi, and at the same time we have a very strong cultural program that connects with the whole community of the city.
Right, and in a way to build a sense of belonging, right?
There must be a sense of belonging.
Right, right. And for the people of Abu Dhabi, what does this museum mean to them?
The museum is very important for the city of Abu Dhabi and for the people of Abu Dhabi. It's not only the pride that we are saying and we are having in our city, one of the modern architectural marvels of the world. It's also its importance to the general policy of tourist development of Abu Dhabi. We're a very centerpiece of that tourist development and the continuous dominance of Abu Dhabi as a prime tourist destination.
Right.
And we have, since the opening of the museum, we have welcomed more than 5.5 million visitors, and this is actually a great contribution to the whole tourist offering of the city.
Right. I hope I have a chance to visit there soon.
You are welcome all the time. I will extend an invitation to you.
Right. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much.
Can you give us a brief introduction about Museum Siam?
Of course, the museum is under the management of the National Discovery Museum Institute, Thailand, which is an internal unit of Office of Knowledge Management and Development Public Organizations, or in brief is OKMD. The primary objective of our institute is to establish the first Discovery Museum in Thailand to be a public learning space with an enjoyable atmosphere, and also using the learning process inside our museum to attract more audience in Thailand, as well as to promote and collaborate with other museum network in Thailand to lift up the standards of the museum in Thailand, and also building the museology knowledge to provide with the person who interested in these areas, in such as students or professionals, to come and join to raise up more standards of the museum management in Thailand as well.
Right. And how does it differ from other museums in Thailand?
I would say that the Discovery Museum, the term of Discovery Museum might be not familiar to the Thai audience, in the past 20 years ago. But what makes us differ from other museums, I think there is three main things. First of all is, of course, we are the Discovery Museum. We kind of want the audience to discover something in the museum. So we attach with the self-learning process that we use in our works. And secondly, when we use the self-learning process, of course, we have to do something that have more interactive presentations and combining some new technologies to gaining attraction from the audience, and help them to learn by themselves. And lastly, I think what is the difference from other museums is we have all year round basics program, which is we have special exhibitions, rotatings, we have activities, we have workshops, which could, get the repeat visitors at the museum, and some kinds it can make the museum more alive at all time. So this is the keys of the Discovery Museum or Museum Siam.
Right. Are there any specific topics of expositions or exhibitions that museum focuses on?
Yes, of course. We actually focuses on, the Thai way of life. And now today, recently, the museum presents the permanent exhibition entitled of Decoding Thainess, which is, the story about the Thainess from the past to the present in the different contexts of in each era of Thailand, and also presenting, with the technology, even the hands-on presentation with, of course, the key things that we use the techniques to attract them to learn in the exhibition. And of course the program is still running around the museum.
Right. The Discovery Museum concept focuses a lot on technology and digitalization, right?
Yeah.
And how do you think these elements play a role in success of other museums in the world?
Yes, for me, I think, in my opinion, the technology has been very much involved in the museum management or the museum works now today, especially after the pandemic of COVID-19. The museum, including Museum Siam, we have using a lot of technology applied in our museum work. For example, first of all, we use the technology to gaining attractions from the audience by using some kinds of digital platform that might be somehow compatible with their personal lifestyle, such as the smartphone or iPhone, iPad, the video, or even produce the online medias to serve them the knowledge and education at their home, via the museum postcards, using the virtual exhibitions to attract them, and also you can find and very easy access to many museums around the world by using the virtual museum. I think these two things is now the museum have applied to their management. And a couple of things is, I think nowadays we use the technology to work on the conservations and collecting the data, especially the museum where have the valuable objects, including museums. Now we use this technology to help us to archive some of the objects that we found at the museum space. And transform it to the 3D scannings and archive it through the online, so the people can access and learn through this object more easier than they have to come in the museum. And lastly, I think is the most important is all the online platform also help us to have more impacts in communicating with our audience. Via the social medias like Facebook, Instagram, or even YouTube or TikTok is quite attractive and gaining more engagement from the audience, and they can. The museum can be the place where we can serve more knowledge to them at home. So you can see the hashtag museum from home a lot during the COVID-19. I think this thing is some kinds of from my experience that I have seen, that what is the change of the technology and using with the museum management.
How do you see the opportunities and challenges for museums in Thailand?
I would say there's a couple, 3 or 4 things that I think that there is opportunities of a Thai museum. First of all, we have a full of cultural access, and Thailand is one of the is the key destination for the tourists for learning the culture, the beautiful cultures of Thailand here. So the museum position can be the place where we can serve or attract the audience to learn some of our culture in the museum. This is quite an opportunity, especially this time we are also promote the Thai soft power. So in every museum, I think they have a lot of contents to providing this kind of about our cultural heritage, even the history of our country very well. And this is one of the opportunity that the museum can be one of the key components of our social to welcome all the tourists from other parts of the world. And secondly, I think the digital or the technology that you mentioned earlier is quite involved in the museum nowadays. It's making museum more appealing and more attractions. I think this is quite an opportunity that when the digital media comes and popular nowadays, and if the museum in Thailand could apply them to our work, it could help us could raise up the standards of presentations in the museum, and get more attraction from the audience.
Right.
And thirdly, I think the opportunity is still in our country is the educations and the lifelong learning policy that is one of the national strategies and also the government policies to promote the lifelong learning. So the museums can be the place that's to be not only the public learning space but can also link to the formal education and serve or build the self-learning process to the peoples of Thailand at all ages, student, from the young families, or to the seniors, group of people which has been increasing up in Thailand. So I think this is one of the opportunity, and lastly, I think the support from the government and also the private sector is very important, and it has still going on the museum work to raise up the standard, especially the exchanging of knowledge and or the trainings or getting some other professional skill from international or professional museums around the world and bring in to develop the museum in Thailand, which is now we are working on it. So I think this is all the opportunity that I have seen in the museum society now.
Right. What about the challenges?
If I would say the challenge,
The funding.
First of all, I think the budget and the financial constraint,
Should give more importance.
Yes, to focus more important. These budgets and financial constraints could make us stuck in some house to do our work. But for us, our solution is we don't see this as a threat. We apply the strategy that we building more partnership with private sectors or non-profit organizations or other international organizations to bring in to maintain the standards of the museum management still. So I think this is kind of very important, or even do some kinds of fundraisings from the other organization to help the museum to develop and
still
to
survive
on this standard. So secondly, I think for the museum in Thailand, one of the things that I would say that we still behind or we still lack of some professional in museum or the skill person in the museum management in summer, because in Thailand the study of the museum or museology management is quite a field, but in this term for us we can open the platform or exchanging the knowledge with others as well. Like for Museum Siam, we became the members of the international institution that we can, get in the knowledge from them and also presenting our knowledge that developed by our peoples to exchange, and then somehow becomes the one of the topics that we can use it to develop or to disseminate to our museum network friends who haven't got a chance to go or to study or have a budget for this kinds of training support. So I think this is quite our challenges. And another thing is to attract the Thai audience.
Right.
It's
a challenge.
It's very challenges for us. It has been challenges since we established this organization, because in Thai, people perception maybe museum is not in mind at the very first place that they come to learn or travels to get the knowledge in the museum. But we wouldn't say that the museum not only the place to serve the knowledge, but nowadays we have to design or tailor our works to match with their lifestyle. That have to attract more visitors, by using somehow learning their behavior experience, tailors the works to match to serve with their needs. This kind of thing came from we have to work a lot on the marketing analysis, so we have to know our customer well. So I think this is quite a solution to serve these challenges. And lastly, I think maybe it's not quite concerned with Museum Siam, but the other museum, especially our museum Thailand network, mostly they have some of them, not mostly, actually it's some of them presented their story through the objects. So I think the conservation and collection management skill is quite very important for us. You will see that many museums in Thailand, they have some of valuable objects that we don't know how to collect or preserve it well.
Right.
So I think the solution is we have to invest the technologies to work on this, and we have to learn and to study some professional skill from the other who has success on this kind of collection management skill. Like us, we work with ECROMS, one of the small units under the International Communities of Museum. So they have provided us with the professional skill how to do with the conservation management, and then when we send our staff to train with them, then our staff came back and use this kind of knowledge to provide to other museum network in Thailand. So I think sorts of challenges that could be happen in any industry, including museum in Thailand. But I think one of the things that the people or the staff who work at the museum have to have the courage to work and who have the passion to fulfill and to acquire the knowledge and to develop ourselves at all times. To come and bring it back to get the solution. So I would always say that the problem is always, but we have to make it pass.
Right.
So this is what I
Thank you for sharing your insights and experience today. ขอบคุณค่ะ